Not good. Not good at all. Right now it looks like the vertical auger is turning and the horizontal auger is not turning at all. So this is not good. I just got off the phone with the service manager at the John Deere store, and if this is what they think it is, it's the gearbox where the auger turns from vertical to horizontal on the unload. And if that's what it is, we got to take the combine down to the shop so that they can work on it there. Right now I'm taking it home. We're going to try to figure out how to drain all the corn out of it so that we can verify what's actually broken. Now that that's off, we should be able to turn this. So this sprocket runs the vertical auger, which should also be running the horizontal auger. These two sprockets up here, they run the floor augers inside the hopper to drag the corn over and dump it into here so that it can go up and out. So obviously, I shouldn't be able to turn it this easily because it is obviously not turning the horizontal auger. Keep turning it. All right. I don't feel the vibration up here, so I assume it's the vertical auger that's stripped out instead of the horizontal one, but either way, the results are the same. We're going to town with it. So that 9670 has the same exact problem we got, huh?
That's what Corey said.
Interesting. Guys, I can't believe this, but I'm on the way back home with the combine. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, the day after I dropped it off at 1 p.m. to get this major repair done. I was planning on being down for probably 2, 3, 4 days, but everything just lined up perfectly. They just happened to have all the parts that they needed, so they just got to work right away on it. That is unbelievable. I couldn't be happier with, I mean, how could you, I'm speechless. There were a lot of people in my TikTok comment section who are angry because there's corn on the top of this feeder house. They said I should have cleaned the combine off before I took it to the dealership to get worked on. Well, here's the thing, I did clean it off, and I haven't been blowing the corn off the top of the feeder house because a mouse has chewed a little hole in the rubber seal on top of the feeder house. And if I just let that pile of corn stay there, it doesn't blow any more corn out. But if I clean it off every morning, it blows more corn out. The entire rest of the combine was clean, and the feeder house is nowhere near the part of the combine that they were going to be working on. So, moral of the story, if you post a video on TikTok and it gets a lot of views, it's gonna get a lot of ridiculous comments too. Does anybody know how to unplug a plugged clean grain elevator on a John Deere S660?
I don't understand why the slip clutch didn't slip.
Neither do I. I thought that's what it was for. That's the golden ticket right there. See, I couldn't get the belt between this and the shield.
Good.
So now I can get that around there. I can put that pulley right back on right there. And then everything should work. The most important thing now is to get this auger put up. So it doesn't happen again. All right. You guys, I am just blown away that such a major malfunction and repair only knocked us out for 24 hours. I sincerely expected that we were going to be shut down for at least 2 or 3 days. Kudos to the guys at Bodensteiner Implement in Rowley for getting that thing in and out of there in a big hurry. I feel like we were really lucky that we were the first people that called with this problem. Although I don't know if that other combine has the same gearbox as ours, since they're 2 different models, but they did have the parts ready to go. And that was a very big part of being able to get the machine back together and rolling again in less than 24 hours. Now I got to admit, I feel like a huge moron about that clean grain elevator debacle, because that was 100% my fault. I had the bubble up auger inside the grain tank folded down because I had to get in and out of the shed without the corn head on. And since there was still corn in the grain tank, I wasn't able to fold it back up until we got out to the field and dumped that corn into the grain cart. I forgot to tell Doc about that. I sent him out to the field with the combine to get started so I could get the semi ready. Since that bubble up auger was folded down, the corn couldn't bubble up. It just piled up in the hinge point, plugged that elevator, and broke the belt. I don't understand why the slip clutch didn't slip first. Maybe the belt was in bad condition to begin with, but anyway, that cost us another couple of hours, and that was 100% on me. Is it feeding through okay this morning?
Yes, it is, and I would appreciate it if you didn't ask, because I'm sure you just jinxed it.
It is so dry that this stuff just piles up between the snoots. The gathering chains and the auger can't even get a hold of the ears. We've tried almost everything, speeding the head up, slowing it down, opening the stripper plates. I mean the deck plates. Running the head tilted all the way back seems to help somewhatly. Going slow sort of helps, but sometimes it doesn't. Everything is so dry. These leaves are just coming off so easy. We really need a rain is what we need. Well, we got just a little shot of rain, and look at the difference already. It's pretty much just ears coming in. I'm not getting a whole bunch of trash. I couldn't even see the ears of corn before because so much leaf trash was coming in. This is working a lot better. In fact, I've squeezed the deck plates down to try to strip some more leaves off because this corn is shelling off on the head, and I'm running the head speed a lot slower than I normally would to try to keep some of those kernels from shelling off on me. Well, we had a good time for about 15 minutes this morning, but that just came to a crashing halt. We got a belt broken, and broken belts are never usually that big of a deal, except for you got to take 3 other belts off to replace this belt that's broken. I got to take this belt off, got to take those 2 up there, and I think that's it. Got to take this fan adjustment actuator motor thingy-mabob off. Jam a 2x4 in between those shivs to hold them open so I can get this belt off. Take that double belt off of that big pulley right there, and I kind of think I got to take part of this shield apart to get those belts to fit between there. I can't remember, but I feel like we've done this belt every year, at least every 2 years. So should have done it at the beginning of this year, I guess. I got all of this stuff torn off. I got that belt removed off of this big pulley down here. So when the new belt shows up, I'll scratch my head and stare at this diagram for a little while, and then I'll try to get that belt routed around all of the appropriate pulleys. Got my 2x4 stuck in that variable shiv down there so it doesn't close on me, because if that closes, I won't be able to get the new belt in. So I see that I'm just about out of time on my work lights too. You see, this combine is equipped with a very handy feature. It has these underhood lights that you can turn on so that you can work on the combine in the dark or in a shed that doesn't have good lights. But when you have them on, they'll only stay on for 8 minutes, and then they'll start to flash and go back off. Of course, this is a safety mechanism so you don't leave them on and drain the battery overnight, but 8 minutes is rarely enough to repair a combine, so you generally end up cycling that switch on and off maybe half a dozen or more times before you get it fixed. While we're waiting for the belt to show up, let me show you something that I do really like. So these are the belt tensioners for the belts. So you have this pulley that is pulled back by this spring, and that puts the appropriate amount of tension on it. So when you get the belt on, it's very easy to properly set the belt tension because all you have to do is tighten these nuts down until this washer is in this zone right here between this wide shoulder and the very end of this gauge. So you can just do a quick walk around every day, make sure all your belts are at the appropriate tension. Here's a good example right here. If you look at this belt, here's the spring-loaded tensioner. Follow it down to the gauge, and you can see that this tension is set appropriately because the washer is in the safety zone. It's much like checking the oil on your vehicle. If the washer is clear down here, you don't have enough tension. If it's clear up here, you've got too much. So I honestly can't think of a better method of doing this. Well, it's good to be back up and running. I've developed a kind of an addiction to these sweet and spicy sunflower seeds. I don't know how I'm gonna get off of them. They are really good. Well, normally we don't really enjoy getting rained out during harvest, but right now I am extremely happy about it. This is great.